So let's have a listen to this Pluck sound. So this is obviously named after one of my favorite artists in that kind of tribal melodic techno scene. And I've reset all of these, so it's not going to sound like it should straight away, but I brought them all down so we can open them up. But once I start to bring these up, you'll know why I've called it Rampa. So let's have a listen to this. So straight away, it's that kind of plucky sound. Sounds a little bit more like a real world instrument. Got like a string aspect to it. So it's using FM, which can open up as well. It's quite percussive. And you've got these layers to be able to build it up. And then if you're making a sound out of this, obviously you could bring the sub in when you drop the kick, which is a bass. It's a very layered sound, actually. You've got the glide. Bit of ring mod. So it's, again, very expressive sound that you're able to open up over an arrangement. When you want a bit more aggression, you've got the noise, which kind of sounds like a hat as well. So, and then we've got a build up, which I really like. And then you've got the room to kind of start building it up again. Yeah, great little sound. I was planning on trying to make a track out of that. Not that same melodic structure. I wanted to come up with something new, but come up with a new kind of like structure for the melodics. And it's just a really good patch, this one, to kind of like open up. And again, don't forget, you've still got the cut off and resonance that you play with. Make it a bit more acidy sounding, or really highlight like the tom aspects of the sound. But yeah, great little sound. So what we're going to do is go to a blank patch again and rebuild this one up from scratch. So again, starting with the voice, let's have a look at that. We're going to switch this to mono. We're going to add a bit of analog flavor, and we're going to put one mode on again. And then with the glide, so with this, I'm going to leave it, I'm going to put it on exponential 64, and then I'm going to leave it on 0. Again, that's another thing that we can bring up with a macro later on. And then for the first oscillator, it's quite a simple one. It's just a sine. Oh, what have I done there? Let me go back. Sine, semi and cent, we'll leave them on 0. And we start off with a simple waveform. This is a trick I do quite a lot when I want to highlight the sound using like FM and some of these mutants. It's quite good sometimes to start with a very basic sine wave. You've just got more wiggle room to create something unique with that. So yeah, let's go for FM, let's go for sine, leave the ratio where it is, bring the wet all the way up, and then we can play around with this. See, when you keep it down, you can kind of maintain the sine wave sound anyway. And then you can open and close the depth amount. So we're going to do that with an envelope, and that's going to give us that plucky sound. So envelope 3, what we're going to do is we're going to send this to mutant 1, depth amount, and we are going to bring this up. But not yet, because we're going to leave it on 0. Same trick again, so we can use a macro for it. Let's go to macro 1. Let's assign that to mod matrix depth 1. Bring it all the way up, and then find the maximum sweet spot for it, which is about there. And we're going to call this one FM envelope. So FM, let's add some more text in there. There we go. So FM envelope. Let's keep it around there for now. And then with envelope 3, we haven't actually created the plucky aspects of it yet. So what we're going to do is bring sustain down. It's going to sound much better once we've done this. There we go. So let's start off around there. Bring a little bit of releasing. And then again, it's always the curves. Like, I love to change these. A lot of people don't change them, they leave them at 0, but it's definitely worth playing around with them. Look how plucky we can get that now. And you won't get the same sound as that just by bringing that decay all the way short like this, because let me just bring that back down. If you make this snappy, it's just not the same. It's a little bit too kind of snappy. So yeah, let's put that back around 96. And we had this around 49-ish. Like, that sounds so much nicer. Because you can have it quite snappy, but then it like eases off at the bottom. And then what I want to do now is set up another macro for the second macro. And this one's going to be assigned to the envelope 3. I got confused and I thought it was envelope 2. So yeah, it's envelope 3. And then we want to go for the decay. So let's just start to open this up now. Yeah, around there will do. And then for this one, we're going to call this FM decay. So again, let's just speed it up by finding FM. And then we'll have to type the rest in. Like I said, I really wish there was a way of customizing these. Maybe ASM might update this at some point. Or maybe they've just ran out of space and characters on the chip that stores all of these. Maybe you can't add any more. But yeah, it'd be really cool if they took some submissions. But then again, if you added too many, it would be a right pain in the ass trying to scroll through all of them. If like all of the users submitted what they would want to see in there, it might end up being a super long list that would take forever to scroll through anyway. So maybe it's not a good idea. So yeah, FM decay. Let's bring that back down a bit. Let's keep it short and snappy while we build the rest of it up. Let's look at oscillator 2 next. So oscillator 2. Let's bring this up. And for this one, we want to go for a sine, semi 12. And let's look at the FM now. So wet all the way up, depth all the way down, ratio. In fact, if you use shift, I want to go for 750. There we go. Right, feedback, we're going to leave that where it is. But so that depth, I'm just going to bring that down. Because again, we're going to use envelope 3 for this. So envelope 3 to mutant 3, depth amount. And then we also need to set up that macro again for this one. So we're going to go to the... Let me just figure this out. I forgot now. Oh yeah, that's it, right? So macro 1, yep, we've got the mod matrix depth 1. So I need to just repeat that with depth 2. There we go. So now we've got a much thicker percussive sound now, rather than just a single oscillator. So that'll do, yeah. And now we're going to set up macro 4, which was the sub. So let's go to the mixer volume, and we're going to go oscillator 3 volume. So that's the one there. Well, it doesn't sound right yet, so we're going to fix that in a second. But for this, let's just go sub. And go to oscillator 3. And for this, what we want to go for is a trisaw. There we go, minus 36. So I just remembered I've done something wrong, which was the oscillator 2, we need that off really. Like this. And take that sub down a second, because we need to set up macro 3 to bring the mix volume of that up. There we go. Let's call this one oscillator 2. I'm just going to type it in. In fact, no, I'm not going to type it in. It's going to take too long. There isn't an oscillator, but there is... Sometimes I don't know if it is just quicker to type in. Let's have a look. There we go. Because I've still got to change these letters anyway. There we go. Right, cool. We can continue now. So macro 5 is going to be for the glide, assign voice, and then what we want on there is we want glide time. Call this one glide time. Now we need to look at the ring mod. So let's look at the ring mod section. Oscillator 3, which is the sub. Oscillator 1, which is the first oscillator we came up with. Let's bring up the volume to start with to have a listen. Yeah, we're going to leave that at 64-ish. Bring this down, because again, macro. We're going to send a macro for that. And then we're not going to add any noise, because we're going to also do that with a macro as well. So let's set up this one first. So this is macro 6. And this we're going to basically use a macro to bring that up. So this one. And then you want ring mod. Oh no, we don't want to be on there actually. It's mixer. So you want to be in mixer. And then you want to be in ring mod volume. And then macro 7, this is going to be for the noise. Cool, yep. So now we can start taking a look at the filter. So for this one, we're going to go for LP ladder 12. Bring the cutoff down quite a lot, and then resonance, leave that at 0. Envelope amount. Around there. Then envelope 1. Release, and then filter drive, so just shit the amp envelope now. Start to add a bit of delay. So we'll go for 1/8. That's sounding much better now. And the feedback, leave it around there. Dampen the delays a little bit by bringing that filter down. Feed tone, we'll leave it at 0. For the reverb, I'm going to put it on cloud. Add a little bit of pre-delay. Now we need to do a build-up macro, so let's go to macro assign, number 8. And for the first one, we're going to do delay feedback. So around there. Reverb time. Let's let's do filter 2 cut off. So this is like a high pass. And then we'll do filter 2 resonance. And then we'll also do mutant 1 and mutant 3 depth amounts. Just make sure these get opened up when we use that macro. Just to add a bit more tension when it builds. And then we've got 2 more, so we're going to do envelope 1 decay. And then we're also going to do envelope 2 release. Great, yeah. So I do that trick quite often when I want to do a massive build-up. So obviously open up the delays and the reverbs and the effects. Open up the timed stuff, so like decays and releases. Anything that opens up like higher frequency content as well, whether it's a filter or whether it's like some FM. And then also, what else did I do in there? So yeah, the feedback, the cut-offs, resonance. And yeah, the filter 2 is a really good one, obviously, because you've got a high-pass filter there as well as your normal filter. So for a build-up, you can knock out the subs and everything. I mean, if I didn't have this build-up knob, I would have to cut back on the sub. I'd have to open up the FM. I'd have to set up another macro to open up the cutoff. So it's just so much better just having this one knob filter. So let's just have a quick test to make sure everything's working. And obviously you can use these in conjunction with a build-up. Great, yeah. So now we're going to take a look at another Pluck sound.